Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Uh, this is Ferrying the Storm, Episode 1. My name is Antonio Lugo, and we're doing this little thing where I put up gameplay of a random game and talk about what I want to talk about. We are ferrying the storm, whether that be sports, politics, or whatever I find interesting. Right. Well, first things first. Um, Today is July 6th. July 6th is the game that America and Mexico were all excited for, and that is the CONCACAF Gold Cup. I probably am not pronouncing that right. Whatever the case, it's Mexico versus USA for the Gold Cup Champions game. And I would say I was decently excited for that game. You know, I haven't really been into sports all too much. I mean, I've always been interested in sports. I always like the idea of supporting your national team, and I've always liked the idea of supporting teams throughout um, different multi-sports. But I've never really kept track with any of them. And I think through these videos and through these Faring the Storms, I will kind of propel myself, force myself to care. And I'm just trying to see how this goes, see if it looks well, if it does decent. Um, Not really if it does decent. This is more for me, truth be told. I want to see if I can do it. Um, so yeah, USA, Mexico before happened in Houston, uh, Houston, Texas, and both America and Mexico had come off pretty good. I want to say they won all their matches, though. They were in the Gold Cup. Um, in my experience, U.S. is usually won against Mexico for the most part. My father always has been telling me that like every time they've met, at least as of late recently, that America has always won. Um, so we're coming in, and he was hoping Mexico would win. I was trying to support America. I was born and raised here, so I'm going to support America. And my dad was born and raised in Mexico, so of course he's going to support Mexico. Off rip, before the game even started, um, I have no clue who the players were. No idea. Truth be told, uh, I didn't really check and I didn't really bother to look. But during the match, at least when they showed all the players, I noticed that there wasn't Polsek there. Polsek um, is literally the American player. Here, let me look him up real quick. Polsek. Is that how you say your name? Pulisic? Christian Pulisic, only 26 years of age, has been the American player, at least from what I can tell, and he wasn't playing. Why? I don't know. I don't know why he rejected the call. I feel like with his help, he could have altered. I don't know. Truthfully, I've never really seen this guy play too often, and I think having him here maybe would have changed how the outcome. I don't know. It's weird. So Christian Pulisic, arguably the most notable American player out there, and could be their ace, was not there. He was not there. I don't know why. I could care less why. Fact is, it wasn't there, and we just have to move on with it. Um, there, there's a lot to talk about here. First and foremost, literally, I think that as 5 minutes into the game, we scored. America scored. It was a foul, and it was an easy cross, header, bam, bam. Didn't look like it went in, but it did, barely. As long as it was in the net, even if it bounces back out, it still counts. And it was scored by a player like Chris Richards. I've never seen these players before, but I've arguably have I instantly clocked Chris Richards as a really good player. And not because of that header specifically, but ever since that header, I haven't seen that man make a mistake. Like throughout the entire game, Chris Richards has played decently well. Well, what am I saying? He played good. Every time he had to guard someone one on one, he guarded him well. He had mean headers. He played really tough, and he was just splendid, really. Overall, America's defense was very good, I think. Um, but arguably, this first goal was kind of lucky. It kind of came out of nowhere, and we moved on really quick. Like, what am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say is that no one expected us to score in the first 10 minutes, and we scored, and we moved on. And for a good while there, I don't think anyone scored until the 27th mark, where I started getting used to the players there. Um, and there was one player that stuck to me. And I think that was Reed. I don't know what was his name. Tim Ream. Yeah. So Tim Ream was middle center with Chris Richards. Both of them arguably doing really well. But dude, Tim Reed had some bad moments. And it's a shame because he played a good game. I think he played a good game. Defenders, you can play a perfect game and have one mistake as a defender and be blamed for the match. Just like a keeper. Well, not really a keeper, but what I'm trying to say is that defenders make mistakes and it costs the game. Strikers, midfielders, they lose the ball, it's on the defenders, and no one really critiques them that much. No one really critiques, hey, you could have scored, you could have made it, you could have passed it. No, we move on because strikers typically mess up all the time. Um, Tim Reed had two instances where he fucked up, and it ended up being two goals. The first one was in the 27th mark. It was by Raul. I forgot his name. Raul something. He had long hair though, and he's a pretty big dude, pretty big Mexican. I'm not gonna lie, not to be gay or anything, but he was a pretty big dude. And what had happened was Mexico takes it up the field and they lob it over the fence, and somehow Raul was able to get past like four people, like their entire defensive line, really, and it was just Raul and Reed or Ream, Tim Ream. The crazy part is Ream was right there. Ream was dead ass. Like I'm certain, I am positive that Ream could have got that ball if he fully committed to it. So they lobbed it over. Raul, I don't even think he touched it once. He dead ass maybe controlled it once. I don't remember, but it didn't look like it. Maybe a small tap. Bam. Back of the net. That motherfucker generated so much power. It was insane. Bam, bam. The thing was, though, was Reem was right behind them. And I'm assuming that Reem, who was right behind them, was I don't know, not predicting he'd shoot it. Like I'm assuming Reem thought that Raul saw him behind, so he wouldn't have shot it, and he would instead dribble, and that's why he didn't fully commit to the ball. whether that be the case or not, he missed. He was right there. He had it. He could have blocked that shit and didn't. He messed up too, which is tragic because Reem had, I think, a decent game, but um, he fucked up. And if you fuck up as defender, it's typically a goal. It's arguably like no matter how good the strikers are, it's the defenders that have to endure the scrutiny and the responsibility of mishandling situation. And Reem fucked that one up. But not only did Reem fuck that one up, he then this one wasn't as bad, but he also fucked up at a 77 mark where Mexico scored again. It was Alvarez. I forgot his first name, but Alvarez. Um, it was a foul, and they were crossing it into the net, and potato. It ricocheted actually, so they crossed it over. It hit a guy, or it headed one person who then passed it to the middle, and then a goal from Alvarez. America had really tall fucking players. They had really tall players. From Ream to Christian, no, from Ream to Richards to their striker. I don't know who he was. 27, 24, 23 maybe? I, I'm sorry. I don't know who he is, but if you watch the match, 24, Patrick Aguaman, that motherfucker's huge. I don't know how tall he is, but he dead ass looks, bare minimum, he looks like he's 6'5". 6'5" player playing soccer. And what they would do is America would always send their defenders plus, um, what was his name? Patrick Agamang? I can't say his last name. I'm just going to say. So they had Patrick. They had Ream, and they had Richards all in the back, and then they had every other player there. And they couldn't get past them. Every corner, every cross, could not get past those three because they would header the fuck out of that ball. So what they did in this cross specifically is they would, instead of just crossing it straight down the middle, where literally those fuck off tall ass players were, they would pass it to a closer guy in kind of like the front of the pack, front of the um, group, and he would ricochet it down the middle, and it worked. It was worked. It was initially counted offsides. I thought it was offsides. It looked offsides to me. But as I was saying before, there was a certain player who fucked up and ended up leaving the goal to go in and arguably won Mexico the game. No, not arguably, literally did. Ream was too far back. And if he was just a bit further up, the goal would have been offsides. But Ream had made the player who scored the goal or the header onside. And it was Ream. Now, arguably, Ream had a splendid game. He had a really good headers. He had really good passing. And he did, I think, steal a ball a few times. But he fucked up and, you know, he lost. He lost the game. You know, I don't blame Ream. But at the same time, it's like, ah, man, you just cannot have that. You cannot. And considering we're going in the World Cup, if Reem fucks up like that again, and Reem has been with the Team USA for a while now. I remember he played in the 2022 World Cup, and he also had some plays there too. But they mixed some players around, I think. They called up some other people because it seemed like a lot of Americans didn't want to play for America. Um, what else am I trying to say here? Oh, another notable thing is that I'm not gonna lie, America has no offense. America has no offense. The entire match, they were on their heels playing defense. They were playing as if they were three up, two up, and winning, and they had to just play defense. They did not. They had to fucking score. But I'm pretty sure the ball was in possession of Mexico for at least, I want to say at least 70%, 65% of the time. Every time America got the ball, they just clock it over to the striker and striker would lose it. They just could not maintain it at all. No offense. They had fantastic defense. They were stopping Mexico. Mexico was was fucking firing from all cylinders. There was a guy, 26-year-old, I forgot his name, but he was back defense from Mexico. 26-year-old did not give a shit. He was the defense. He was defense. He didn't give a fuck. He was shooting that two shots. 26 years of age. Damn, bro. He passed up every other player and said, "I'm taking that shot." And Mexico was just on the offense the entire match, and America was on their heels. They were backing up, and it was just not much could be done, really. Um, Notable players that I've recognized was Mexico had a 26-year-old defender, I forgot his name. They had Raul, the guy who scored, and they had Ochoa was there. Ochoa wasn't playing goalie, but he was there on the bench. I do remember a lot of the American team now, though. They had Patrick, 6 foot fucking seven Patrick, ginormous man of a Patrick. They had Reed, they had Richards, and they had Diego Luna. Diego Luna's had He's a character. He looks very cool. Tatted up, bleached hair, short guy. Kind of reminds me of Messi. But even though he had a splendid game last game, I think he scored 2 goals. He was not. He had maybe a one chance this game because they were constantly on their heels. He was constantly playing defense. And he had good touches. Every time he got the ball, he instantly released the ball. Bam, 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 up the field. I think he lost the ball once, maybe twice. That's because I don't know, wanted to try dribbling past them because nothing was happening. And yeah, no, nothing. No one could really do anything. In the last like 10 minutes, Reem launched it to Patrick. Patrick had a chance, but he was unable to get his foot on the ball and over the keep, and they saved it. I've never really seen America play. This is the first time I've seen him in a while, but overall, America is doing. I want to say they're doing fine. I don't think we're in a position to win the World Cup. Now, you can make the argument that, well, we didn't have all of our players. A lot of our players, like Polsek, stayed in Europe playing with their teams instead of playing with the USA, and we called up some guys who didn't deserve to be there. Sure, but that means we would have never gotten Diego Luna. Diego Luna went crazy. He went nuts. He's a good player. But I think at this stage, it's who are we going to send to the World Cup? I know we're taking Ream. I know we're taking Richards. Those two guys are definitely staying. Who else are we taking? We had a few players that I noticed. Willman. Um, are we taking Patrick? I think we're taking Patrick. I mean, he didn't score, you know, but he looks like he was a monster on defense, which is crazy to me how why he's playing offense, why he was all the way up there when he was defending like crazy on the corner kicks and all that. I think if we are unable to retain some of our players, because there's going to be hard feelings. Like, why didn't you play here? Why didn't you play with us? Why didn't you play in the Gold Cup? Sure, but this is the World Cup. This isn't the what is this cup that it was called? CONCACAF? CONCACAF Cup? the world is going to be in this cup. I'm pretty sure in this cup it's just America. It's just the Americas. So I don't know. We'll see. Um, you know, will Pulisic come back? Will the other players that I don't really know come back? Will will they retain Luna? Will they keep Ream? Ream has fucked up. You could say he cost the match, but arguably, why weren't we on the offensive ever? Ever. We never were. We had maybe, I want to say, six good shots. Mexico had at least, got to be at least double that. 12, maybe 15. And that is a USA versus Mexico July 6th for the Cup. It is in the World Cup. World Cup's happening next year. Um, yeah, I'm gonna see how to do this. I wanna talk about stuff. I wanna talk about sports. I wanna talk about general things. It's almost like a diary, really. But I don't want to show my face. I don't have a webcam. So I'm gonna show gameplay of video games I play, and we're gonna see how this goes. I don't know. I plan to make more videos. I need to look up my teams. Uh, of course, the teams would be NBA teams, basketball teams, baseball teams, tennis teams, hockey teams. There's a lot of sports that I should give a shit about that I don't. And there's also video games I should give a shit about. Um, yeah, this is about it. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope whoever watched this, you have a splendid day. And if you have any criticisms about me or my mic or my talking gameplay, please say it. If not, then I will probably comment my own video saying I did a splendid job. Um, that is it. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and that is Faring to the Storm 1.